What's going on, guys? It is Travis here with the NPCs, and welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup. It is October 29th, 2021. Tonight, we will be talking about Halo Infinite's campaign finally revealed, all the juicy details about what's going to be going on with Master Chief following the events of Halo 5. We'll, of course, also be talking about BlizzCon Line 2022 being canceled to, quote-unquote, focus on development of Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, but I think we all really know what that means. We'll also talk about Vicarious Visions when we get into that story, too. And, of course, we'll also be talking about Grand Theft Auto San Andreas becoming a VR title? I know, very strange, right? But we'll get all into that tonight. Again, it is October 29th, 2021. We're going to roll our intro and get things started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup for the week of November 20th, 2020. It is Friday. It is, where's my date? It's September 18th, 2020. Here to our first story, and this is actually breaking news for all of us right now here, too. Figured this is a kind of a big one to cover, of course, with who it is. Joined via Discord by Kyle because we're in the midst of a pandemic still, and, of course, everything is all kinds of crazy. So this thing is a chocker. I mean...
yeah, it's a beast.
It's huge. Doing that we had the Resident Evil stuff, that they were successful with Castlevania. Welcome to another NPC's Weekly News Roundup. And it's the news time. I am joined, of course, by Kyle via Discord. Kyle, hello.
What's up?
Man. And there we are. Okay, I didn't hit the button properly there, Kyle. So, yeah. Oh, indeed. Hey, everybody. So it is another weekly news roundup. Of course, it is October 29th. We are a day early. And that's my fault because I made the recommendation to go ahead and do this a day early instead of on Saturdays, because I have not been able to do the news. There have been no quick saves at all this week because it's been, I'm not going to get into exactly it. I've been feeling under the weather, but we'll leave it at that. Anyway, with that, of course, doing the news today, of course, Kyle's with me over, let's see, that way. He's over there. Hi, Kyle.
What's up?
All right. I don't know. Looks like we're dressed up for Halloween. I got my Red Ranger hoodie on here, all set and ready. You've got your Lucio hoodie going on, I guess, to be a Lucio fanboy.
No, just because my room's chilly right now.
No, that's the
I
same
didn't
way.
have my computer on until earlier.
That's the same way here in my basement, where like here, like if I pull my camera off here and show the audience this one here. So I've got this giant hole here in my wall off to the side that is not insulated or anything, and so I've got a temperature probe in there right now to tell me what exactly it gets down to temperature wise. I don't know yet. We'll find out though at some point.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. The chilly episode. Anyway, so we got a lot actually to talk about here in news this week, and I guess one of the things to start off with here, of course, is Halo Infinite. So we did finally get the official campaign details dropped in a video, but one of the big things, of course, that was that this was what I feel, and Kyle, I don't know if you actually watched this or not, but I feel like this was actually a pretty good apology video in one form to what we got back in 2020. I mean, what do you think about that?
I would say so. And, I just got through watching it because I went ahead and hopped right in to give myself a refresher. Because I watched it, like, after a whole day of crap. But, as far as... like, I guess how polished it's become, and where they've totally gone since the actual like release or announcement of it. It's come a long ways. Craig, for one, looks a lot better.
Oh, yes, absolutely he does. He by far does look better, so I'm going to go ahead and flip over to this. By the way, Kyle, I'm telling you right now, I had to turn off me sending video to you right now until I could figure that out, because my camera for what I was sending you, the second camera, was showing up as a thumbnail underneath your head in the stream.
No,
So, and I had no way I could figure out how to turn that off. So that's another
that's
technical issue
fun.
for another day. But yeah, let me go ahead and flip over here to this. We can go ahead and get this trailer going here from Xbox. Um, so the whole thing though, yeah, you're absolutely right. Craig did get a big makeover in this one. Like he had a bones day. He took care of himself. Everything was nice and happy. You know, he did really well to take care of himself on all of it. So, yay for Craig. Now, um, so what we're getting here, of course, with Halo Infinite is that they actually have confirmed that this does take place after the events of Halo 5. With this taking place, of course, after Halo 5, this is still continuing on the search for Cortana, basically. Trying to figure out exactly what happened to her and what caused her to go crazy. And we all kind of unfortunately know how Halo 5 ended up. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
interesting.
I kinda wonder if they're really gonna continue with that storyline, or if this is like gonna rewrite it and just retcon the whole thing.
I agree. The thing though is that they've already confirmed that this is going to take place after Halo 5, so I don't know how much it's going to retcon it in one way. Um, but a couple of the things here anyway, yeah, is like story-wise, of course, going after Cortana, you're on the hunt at the initial part of the game to find a new AI, which they're calling the Weapon. It just seems more like a younger Dr. Halsey again. She's actually featured here right now. Um, but so what's happening here, of course, is that you've come across Zeta Halo is the name of it, the one that's completely blown up and broken apart. And your mission is to apparently find Cortana here on this one. You may actually end up coming across her and finding her here. The brutes and elites and other covenant that you end up coming across are all elites, or all those, I think they're called like the Forsaken, and they are those who are still believers of the original goal of what the covenant were all about in the original Halo games. Yeah, a lot of stuff to take in for what Halo Infinite's going to be.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot more like splintering factions of Covenant groups that you might have to take on, that could be interesting. I kind of like the whole outpost taking those out kind of thing, but I don't know. I hope they don't go like too Far Cry on it, because I'm really burned out on that format.
Right.
But I mean, just the way it looked, with moments ago, with Chief jumping down into the base with a rocket launcher. I mean,
There's
I think
Craig.
we're gonna see a lot of that aerial strike stuff, and quick, real, move between location to location, to actually uncover information. I don't see it being like a super long game, but I could see it being, quite a bit longer than your average Halo game.
I agree. God dang it. Like this, your Discord window is all kinds of screwed up here. I got to readjust you there and get you there.
Yeah,
God.
what happened there?
Well, because last time we did the news, I think you and I were actually together doing it. And so it's,
Oh, that's right.
yeah,
Because yeah,
it's
we
all
were
those
using.
little nuances
Yeah.
on messing with shit. Anyway, so yeah, with what you were saying there, the Far Cry part is what I want to focus on. Yes, this was originally teased as being something that was a bit more open world back when Halo Infinite was first shown off, because we did get somewhat of a taste of what like the map would probably look like, or at least the navigation view, and I think that was from the original trailer that they gave us.
Right.
And yeah, I do like the comparison, of course, thinking about it to Far Cry, where you're jumping from place to place, but I don't know. Like, I'm not a fan of Far Cry. I'm not one who's played any of them, so I don't know exactly what to expect on this. I don't know if I'm going to end up being turned off by this because that's the way they're going, but maybe I'm not all the way concerned about it, though. I'm willing maybe to give it a shot because it is Halo.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same state. Plus I got really hyped when I played that Infinite multiplayer beta.
Right.
Just the motion, or the locomotion of the gameplay, and how quick everything was. It it added new life to the series for me, and it made it feel like some of the shooters that are out now, but more Halo, and it was just a fantastic feeling as far as playing, multiplayer game. So it really pumped me for the campaign. I'm definitely excited for this one.
I think so too. I think that we ended up probably getting a really good taste of what Halo is going to feel like more than anything. Um, and I think one of the big things, though, that I really appreciated is that it didn't feel like everything was overly alien like it was in Halo 4 and 5. The emphasis on the Forerunners and their technology. Now, they do make a return here in this of sorts, but it's not as like the overly angled, like bright orange lighting scenes and all their stuff. You don't really see a lot of that coming back into this, which honestly feels good for me personally to see that, because I thought that was just way overkill with the introduction of them. That it's like, oh, here's a new foe for them to fight, and it just felt like it was kind of too forced on us, if that makes sense.
Um, yes and no. Like, I think when the Forerunners got introduced, there were in the Halo community as a whole, it was kind of like, oh, really? Again, we're doing this whole scenario again, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It was a different enemy variety. I feel like maybe they had added them because they felt backed into a corner as far as what they could do with the Covenant, and maybe that was a mistake.
Maybe, and maybe it just took them that long, though. With Halo 4 and 5, uh, uh, the other like games that they put in. I know there was like Halo Wars 2. There was that
Hmm.
Spartan Assault game. Maybe that was where they just finally kind of realized it's like, okay, maybe we divested a little too far, and it's time to take it a step back. And this was a
Yeah,
way to
reel it
do it.
back in.
Yeah, because it's like you're not going to see a whole religion effectively about face on what they were believing in. There's going to be sects of it that are going to be, they're still going to be very devoted to the cause, and that's why I like kind of the way that this goes. Is that it's like this feels like it's a return to classic Halo in the sense is the religious overtones with what the Covenant were really focused on.
Oh yeah, and I think with the fact that we are dealing with splintering factions of the Covenant, um, the that's actually going to add, because you see the scope of the game, like especially it being open world, and when you're flying you see the actual scope of the Halo, and it's like, well, yeah, there's going to be lots of people on this thing, and maybe they have, developed different ideals, and maybe, there's been some bleed through of ideals from place to place. So I mean, it could be an interesting type of thing to see. Like you're seeing almost like a culture created because of what's happened, as far as the storyline.
Agreed. Agreed. Um, One of the other things here, so I'm looking at a summary article from Game Informer that was also talking about the video here, and this is one thing I remember seeing, is that it looks like we're actually going to have bosses in Halo for the first time. Not necessarily just those that you're putting bullets into in that, but you actually have bosses on here with health bars, both for shield and for health. So we're going to have some enemies that, I mean, it's not like that's different from some Halo games though anyway, but because we fought bigger creatures before. I mean, think about the first time you came across oh my God, why am I spacing their name already? Um, oh my God, I'll come back to that here in a minute. I can't remember their names now. But now we're actually going to have stuff that looks like it might be more powerful in that case, where you're going to have more of like a boss encounter. But while I like the idea of something like that to have those more difficult things, it almost seems more like, and this is where it kind of goes back to the Far Cry stuff, and you can correct me on this too, Kyle, is
Hmm.
that each like area or like village or place you'd go to in Far Cry, you'd come across like some sort of boss or person in charge in that area, and you'd have to take them down, right? Like in
Yeah,
certain
usually
areas.
just like a stronger enemy. Like, so when you go into an area, sometimes they'd have like, oh, well, this is your like peon enemies, and they've got this weapon on this guy because you can like spot. I want to say it becomes a skill that you can like spot what type of or weapon they have. So you can be like, oh, well, that's a melee enemy. that's a machine gun enemy, and that's just, a shotgun enemy. And well, you know what you're kind of getting into.
Right.
But the in addition to that, there'll be like, well, these are the peons. These are like maybe your two lieutenants, and then you have the big honcho that he's going to be a little bit harder to kill than anyone else. But I mean, he's typically just a regular enemy. He might look different, but he is just a regular enemy, just
Okay.
amped up.
Okay. Yeah, that was
And
one
so
of those
maybe
things
that's what
again.
we were kind of seeing with fighting that brute just now too, was uh he had a health bar. Maybe he's just a little bit more amped up brute. He's like the commander of that base, so he's gonna have a different weapon set that's a little bit better, that or more armor that gives him a little bit more of an advantage.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. No, you're absolutely right. That could very well be where it ends up sitting at too. Um, I don't necessarily see it as a problem, but again, that's why I was asking more about like the Far Cry side of things, especially.
Yeah,
Um,
no, it seems very similar to what I've kind of seen in the trailer. So I mean, there is that, but I don't know if we're gonna see more than that. There is the possibility. I mean, we could see, maybe Craig has three brothers, and they're gonna try and take over the Zeta Halo. I don't know.
Craig 1, Craig 2, Craig 3, Craig Jr. The Halo Infinite's sequel will be Craig Jr. rising up to take us down. That's what it'll be. Uh, but of course, even with that, though, I mean, I'm after seeing like the success of what this Halo has turned out to be versus our, versus what we had originally seen back in 2020. I'm feeling much better about it, and I think a lot of
Mhm.
what helped was us being able to play the technical preview. I think that really
Yeah.
kind of helped lead into it. So I'm feeling
Oh,
good about
definitely.
it. It sounds like you're feeling good about it, Kyle. Um,
I'm loving the level of polish on it.
I am too.
Yeah.
But the question is though, I mean like I'm going to put it on both my console and my PC. Do you see yourself picking up an Xbox Series S here at some point and throwing it on there, or are you going to wait?
Not a Series S. Eventually it'll be an X, but I'll probably
All
pick it
right.
up when I do get the system. Even
All right.
even though it'll be on Game Pass like indefinitely, I imagine. But
Oh yeah, I
uh,
bet.
I'll, I'll still I'll still pick it up.
Yeah,
That
and
that's one that's worth having.
I think so because well, I mean they're splitting it up even too. Is that you're getting the campaign separately from the actual multiplayer. Um,
Right.
so it's going to be interesting to see that part. I'll pick it up on Game Pass, and then depending if it is a timed thing on Game Pass, I'll end up picking up the campaign on disc at some point after that. Just because I want to get through it. Like we'll bust through it all and just get it done. So no
Oh
harm, no
yeah.
foul by doing that. Anyway, game's still set to come out on December 8th. So if you are one to go and pre-order, go and pre-order it. Remember, campaign is going to be separate from the multiplayer. Multiplayer is going to be free. However, there will be no campaign co-op. There won't be any Forge or anything on launch. That's all stuff that's going to be coming down the line later on. So I guess, Kyle, for you and I, since we can't do any campaign co-op, we're just going to have to play it side by side and I don't know, just try not to move past each other, I suppose. But
See, and it,
who
it it
knows?
does boggle me that they're not doing co-op campaign, because it looks like you have that partner that's with you the entire game. So there's no reason that someone shouldn't have been able to take over that AI.
I agree.
But
I'm not one to argue with you on that. It does
I mean,
disappoint me.
yeah, I know they are also dealing with crunch probably. I mean, we've had it delayed. It was supposed to launch with the console launch, then it got delayed a year, and now we've delayed it a month. So,
Yeah.
or what was it? Not a month. It was like 2 or 3 months, wasn't it?
Well, it was supposed to come out in November. It was supposed to release in November, especially like with more along the lines of like coinciding with Halo, the original Halo Combat Evolves
Oh, okay,
release
so
20
no.
years ago.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
now it's at the beginning of December. So it's only been pushed out by a few extra weeks. It's not a bigger
Okay,
delay like it was when it was first delayed back in 2020.
right.
So anyway, but yeah, that is it on the Halo side of things, at least as of right now. But we move on, of course, to our next story. And so if you haven't been tuned in on this, Facebook as a company has decided to rebrand themselves for whatever reason as Meta. Because God knows anymore. I mean, metaverse, just, I don't know, Kyle. This is annoying.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
Just one more thing on the Facebook record, I guess. Draw attention away from their other stuff that's going on, but it's whatever. I think the name's dumb.
I agree. I just have a feeling that Mark Zuckerberg came out of his recharging pod and just went and was went up to a mirror or something that was all steamy and drew the metal
Everything
symbol.
is metaverse.
He drew the meta symbol. Meta. He turned around to his wife while she was getting ready to dispense repairs and whatnot to him because of his recharging pod, and he's just like, Meta. And then he booted into his normal human mode. So, yeah. Anyway, so, of course, Meta, I hate saying that, but whatever, it is true now. Meta, of course, is the umbrella company that has underneath it Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Oculus. Being a gaming news group here, we're going to be talking about the gaming stuff more specifically. So, just like the title below us says, is that the team over at Meta is working on a way to backpedal effectively on what they've done to require Oculus Quest devices. Well, it's really any Oculus device in particular. They are basically backpedaling on their original process where you had to set up a Oculus with a Facebook account. They are backpedaling on that finally. However, there's no timeline on when that's going to happen other than next year. So the CTO of Meta, Andrew Bosworth here, said, "We're working on new ways to log into Quest that won't require a Facebook account landing sometime next year. This is one of our highest priority areas of work internally." Well, why even do it in the first place, Kyle? Like, why force somebody to sign up for a Facebook account like this when there didn't seem necessarily to be anything wrong with having the Oculus account that was there? Like, what's the point?
If I'm not mistaken, with the original Rift, that there wasn't any sign up required or anything. It was you just download things from the store and you're good to go. You didn't have to have your Facebook account linked.
Yeah, I don't think you had to have it. I think you had to have an Oculus account to purchase stuff and then save it, so that way if you signed out and signed in on a new computer, then your library was there.
Right, but it wasn't it wasn't anything to do with Facebook at all at that point.
Right.
They actually programmed that in. They took extra steps to program that in for some reason.
Well,
and now they're trying to get rid of it.
Right. They're getting rid of it because they obviously realize that if they want this to be the thing, they want this whole metaverse thing of theirs to be VR centric, like being able to throw on the headset and just have normal conversations with people in it instead of what we know VR for anyway. Half-Life Alyx, VR chat.
Well, they've totally damaged an
else.
audience for 2 years now, telling them that they had to.
I agree.
They've got a lot of backpedaling to do now.
I 100% agree. And I think a lot of it really comes down more so to just padding their user base just to look better look better for the shareholders is probably more than anything. Mm-hmm. And that's, of course, an important thing for them, to make money. But at the same time, for those of us out there, I have a Facebook account. Kyle, you have a Facebook account. And so it's okay, for us, it'd be kind of whatever. But there are a lot of people who don't have a social media presence, especially one on Facebook with the way Facebook's practices are. Yes, we are streaming on Facebook right now, but that's not the point. There are people who just don't have a social media presence on Facebook because they don't like the company. They don't like what goes on Facebook. And I get that. So for them to be forced to buy this piece of tech or forced after buying this piece of tech, they wanted to sign up for a Facebook account just to make it work. That's a pretty big turnoff for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I mean, even the VR penetration rate right now is still not even that high. There's a lot of people playing VR games, but it's not as high as those who just own like a gaming machine. It's not.
Right.
So, like, okay, this is great, but it's like all you need to do is just turn off this one feature and just go back to the original Oculus setup. I'm missing
Yeah,
something?
I agree. I agree. I don't know. They've got a whole fix in marketing for that ahead of them. I don't even know.
Well,
I kind of wonder if they, if they actually did hard program it into the Quest and the Quest 2 that you had to have that Facebook, or could they push out maybe an update that wouldn't require the Facebook login anymore?
mm-hmm.
Kind of makes you wonder.
Yeah, so,
Be a good way to move those older units.
yeah. Well, here's what I'm trying to find out exactly is how many people actually, like, uh, like what the actual percentages of people who own headsets. So here's the breakdown on headset stuff right now, at least for what I've got. So according to, I was looking at this because of the penetration stuff here. So in the August 2021 hardware survey on Steam, 32% of Steam users who own a VR headset had stated they owned an Oculus Quest 2. Below that was the Rift S, which was the last generation or last released wired only version. Below that was the Valve Index HMD. Below that, the Vive, then Windows Mixed Reality, then Oculus Quest 1, then Oculus Rift 1, and then other models like HP's headset. So I wonder if I can actually find, let's see, Steam hardware survey. I wonder if I can actually find anything on there specifically to VR, like, let's see, VR headsets. No, I would just like to know if anybody. No, it doesn't really give me a good number here. So, because I was just hoping it'd be like, here's the percentage of people who actually play PC games, but also do own a VR headset or something, but there's nothing like that. But anyway, take that as you will, I guess, though, is that the penetration rate is kind of there, but it's not all the way there. And so that's still a lot of people to put off.
Oh, definitely.
More than anything. But with this change, though, now, I mean, I know you're not going to be buying Oculus at any point in time. You're not going to be picking up any of that. You're more specifically like focused on the Valve and HTC developed stuff.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Just based on the specs of the hardware. The fact, their screen coverage on per eyeball and whatnot, and just their motion controls. I know Oculus has come a long way with their motion recognition with individual fingers, but as far as like that goes, the Valve Index is top dog, and HTC is very far behind them.
No, they're really not. They're really not, especially because of the offerings they continue to put out. Because they just did put out that HTC, not Flow. You know which one I'm talking about, though. This most recent one that they dropped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one looks like that's really going to be targeted at what Facebook is trying to accomplish with their VR, like their social space and whatnot. It doesn't look like it's going to be targeted at what you would buy or what I would buy.
Which kind of I feel like is a little bit ironic. Like it's almost like other companies are beating Facebook to the punch for their own device stuff.
Right.
Like Facebook has a great device in the Oculus. When they made the purchase of the Oculus, and I feel like they haven't fully utilized it, and now that they're trying to do this whole metaverse thing, it's a little too late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because we saw how things like Oculus Go, the promo stuff that Samsung was doing, where you could get one of their Galaxy headsets that were made like in partnership with Oculus at that point in time. So yeah,
Right.
it's not all the way. I don't know if you're going to find like a standard consumer market for it at any point in time. I think it's good, or at least any point in time in say the next several years. I think you're looking at least another 10 years or so to do it before you get there. But even so, this is back on the login stuff anyway, though, and that at least it's changing. It'll probably make some people happy. I'm sure there will be a transitionary phase to be able to go back to or to move from your Facebook sign-in that you had to set up to something different. So if you're an Oculus owner and you don't like your Facebook account, but you have to have one anyway because you've got an Oculus, then here's your way out, hopefully this next year.
Yeah.
Hooray. Now we move
Hooray.
on, of course, to our next story here. Let's see. I was trying to just do something here really quick. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Sorry, I had to make a small fix here on my side. So we've got BlizzCon or BlizzCon Line 2022 having been canceled this week. And of course, we'll get into the Vicarious Visions thing here after this as well. But yes, BlizzCon Line has been canceled to no one's surprise.
Yeah.
Are you shocked, Kyle?
I am not. And saying that it's to focus on Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 feels like a cop-out.
Did you like my air quotes? The focusing on development with their titles in that, even though they
I know.
Like it. Part of me feels that that's a cop-out. That's a big freaking cop-out, and you know it.
You know, just the fact that they say, you know, that Blizzard is saying that that's why they're canceling BlizzCon.
Right.
Come on, Blizzard. What are we doing here?
Do they need to put focus into these games? Yes. Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, it feels like that they've fallen so behind that they need more emphasis on things. I mean, World of Warcraft, I've been seeing some things where people just haven't been feeling satisfied with this latest update that came out. But of course, that's small fry compared to the bigger issue right now, which is the ongoing lawsuits and investigations and everything else, because that keeps turning into a whole like whole dumpster fire just every single day, because now you've got lawsuits or you've got a request in with the court against the original group who put up the lawsuit. And now it's just, and Blizzard's helping out the people who they were agreeing to pay money to, like a fine or something to address some of this stuff. It's all over the place. And right now it's just such a nightmare to try to even figure out who is suing who or who is doing what. There's only a couple,
I mean, Blizzard should just be like, hey, we need to focus on our internal family and figure out what we can do to help our people, to help get your games back on track so you can have a good time.
Well, here's what they said, Kyle. Whatever the event looks like in the future, we also need to ensure that it feels as safe, welcoming, and inclusive as possible. We're committed to continual communication with our players, and we'll see BlizzCon playing a big role in that going forward. So not focusing on the people within the company itself. They're focusing on they need to focus on the people in the company anyway, but they're trying to make it more inclusive, at least for those on the outside, because they have a reputation to really clean up and address now.
That is fair. That is a fair statement as well.
Yeah.
I feel like the action that they took in the whole thing with the litigation that's current, they were a little slow to act this time, but I feel like they will clean it up properly and address all the issues.
I am very hopeful that they will. As one big part of it, though, I didn't have the article posted in our notes, but did you happen to see that Bobby Kotick actually took a pay reduction and said that it's like he'll need to earn money based on hitting certain gender metrics or something like that? I got to see if I can actually find the article again.
I hadn't seen that one, no.
Let's see. Yeah, right here from Kotaku. Bobby Kotick takes another pay cut, waives arbitration in letter to staff. Let's see. Yeah, among them, waiving arbitration, having his salary cut to its lowest possible level. He outlined 5 new changes. The company. Let's see, where is it at? I want to actually see what his whole thing is here. Let's see. Okay, so he has asked the board to cut his pay to the base salary under California law, which is $62,500. And he is asking, let's see, this is the reduction in my overall compensation, not just my salary. I am asking not to receive any bonuses or be granted any equity during this time. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Accordingly, I have asked our board of directors to reduce my total compensation until the board has determined that we have achieved the transformational gender-related goals and other commitments described above. And he wrote a big letter. So basically, he's put out some really strong commitments here, it looks like. And I'm hoping that this really sticks for some of these things, especially.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so let's see, a couple takeaways from this part here. Where's number one? Launching a new zero tolerance harassment policy company wide. Let's see. They are increasing the percentage of women and non-binary people in our workforce by 50%, and it will invest $250 million to accelerate opportunities for diverse talent. Number three, based on feedback from employees, we are waiving required arbitration. This is a big one. Waiving required arbitration of sexual harassment and discrimination claims. For any Activision Blizzard employee who chooses not to arbitrate an individual claim of sexual harassment, unlawful discrimination, or related retaliation arising in the future, the company will waive any obligation to do so. They will continue to increase visibility on pay equity, and then provide regular progress updates. And that Activision Blizzard working group, A Better ABK, they called it a big win. So they actually feel pretty strongly that these are some good changes in the right direction. And I got to be honest with you, having Bobby Kodak's pay reduced is probably good for everybody. So yeah, but that's in the larger scale of the BlizzCon stuff that's happening right now anyway, is that this isn't just about focus on the games. This is about what's been going on with the lawsuit and that there have been meaningful changes going on. But of course, even outside of the BlizzCon cancellation and the lawsuit stuff that's going on, Vicarious Visions. I mean, this one's an interesting one, especially to see. Like, talk about that one, Kyle.
So just out of the blue, Blizzard not only bought and it decided to absorb Vicarious Visions. Vicarious Visions is dropping their name and everything. They're 100% part of Blizzard now, and they will carry the Blizzard name.
Yeah,
so you're the same guys that brought us the latest Tony Hawk games that were so fantastic. Remake a remake of the first two games. They're just gone. They're Blizzard now.
Yeah, it looks like what they're probably going to be renamed is Blizzard Albany, which is based on the location of Vicarious' studio right now, which is up in Albany, New York.
But at the same time, I mean, that's like taking a company and saying your track record isn't worth anything, so we're just rebranding you. Like everything your company's worked for 15 years now. Whatever. We're better than that, so we're gonna just take you over. We're not gonna let you keep your name or anything.
Yeah,
it is part of us.
Right. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what comes of it, because it does say they are moving to more of a long-term support role for Blizzard games. So whether that means they're going to be playing like the auxiliary development team, the QA and patching and test team or something, it's not really clear exactly what is in their future either. But yes, Vicarious Visions is effectively gone in that regard. The employees are still there, but yeah.
I mean, I don't know. If I was a member of the Vicarious Visions team, I think, especially if I had been there for, 5, 10, or the whole 15 years, I would be a little hurt.
I would think so too. Like, it was kind of that same feeling when we, like when my company had merged with another company, and there was a lot of that too, and there's still a little bit of that to this day. And it's
And this one
interesting, of
came
course,
as
to
a
think about.
blindside.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, this one was definitely a big blindside compared to what I had experienced. We had a little bit more time to process and prepare for some things there. But yeah, this one was definitely a big blindside on their part of it itself. But I think one thing we should at least take away from this is that it's not that they were acquired and then the studio's shutting down the next day. The name is going
No.
away, but the people will still be there. They may be under this Blizzard Albany. Maybe they're going to come up with some other different name for the satellite office or whatever, you know.
And
Who
who knows?
knows?
We may not necessarily see the end of, the new Tony Hawk games or anything that they had previously worked on as major projects. So.
True. It would be nice to actually see a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 bundle come up here soon.
Oh,
Or
heck
even
yeah.
even Underground would be neat to see.
Yeah.
But, that is an interesting thing though, especially, their names going away and just there's that. They got a long history with doing ports and such. They worked not only on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but they also worked on Diablo 2's remastered version as well. So they've been plenty busy. They've been doing a lot for Blizzard already. It just makes me wonder what's next in store for them. And here's hoping, fingers crossed, that nobody's going to be losing their jobs. Not right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But speaking of interesting developments in the world of everything else that happens to be going on, we've got Cyberpunk to talk about now after all this time, Kyle.
Just when you thought it was all over.
It's never over. With Cyberpunk, Kyle, it's never over.
I think before we kind of get into the article, I think we're at a point now. We got to realize it's never going to be truly fixed. There's always going to be some wonk-ass bugs in the game.
Cyberpunk
I don't even know how to
2077, the
describe it,
wonk-ass edition.
Yeah. I mean, you've got characters walking through walls or sitting on invisible chairs and, eating invisible food and then pulling non-invisible things out of their ass. So... I don't know. There's always going to be parts of this game that I think are going to be broken at this point.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to live with it.
Absolutely. And my thought is that because of the things that actually changed that they had to do to fix Cyberpunk 2077, that's why we've got the delays on DLC.
Yeah, and not just that they've had to change, but change in the roadmap just to get the game fixed. We're not even on the roadmap to any expansions and shit.
No, we're not. We're nowhere close to that.
We're still altering the original roadmap to the fixed version of the game.
Yeah. And I haven't even touched the game in so long now. Like, I've got it uninstalled from my computer. It's almost like I need to just restart it from the beginning.
It on there. I don't know why.
I
need to either play it or delete it at this point.
But anyway, so getting into the actual story here, because I mean, like, talking about Cyberpunk 2077 and its current quality feels like beating a dead horse that's already turned into glue. DLC for Cyberpunk 2077 has been pushed off for quite a while now. At least it's been slowly but steadily, like, getting closer to a point where we were supposed to be hearing a release date because they were supposed to be dropping stuff this year. However, we did not get that. We did not get any sort of official drop of news on any major DLC, save for, of course, the one that has already dropped already. But everything else got pushed out to next year, and they announced that yesterday. So all they're saying here, of course, is that the delays were based on recommendations supplied by persons supervising development. Apologies for the extended wait, but we wanted to make it right. I'm not shocked. I'm never going to be shocked when anything comes out about Cyberpunk 2077. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, what? They did what? Yeah. I'm not going to be that anymore. I'm going to be like,
there's no reason to be.
No, there is no. This game was so hyped, was so put out there for what it was going to be, and I like, my kid has beat it twice already, and they've already gotten through it twice and finished it, and it's like, okay, good for you. I don't even remember where I am. I don't even know who is who anymore. If you want to ask me how to play that game, I couldn't tell you how to do it. Even so, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's sad for those who are still really committed to Cyberpunk 2077, but I'm not shocked that we've got DLC stuff that's been delayed. If patches keep coming out for problems that they're finding, okay, good. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's great to continue stability. But I'm just curious to know exactly how many people have finally just burned themselves out on playing this game.
See, and it's kind of funny too, because when I was building my computer back in January, and I was visiting Micro Center, I one of the guys that was working at the register, he was talking about how he beat Cyberpunk, and it was like he was wearing it as a badge of honor, like he made it through it, not that it was an enjoyable experience necessarily. Like he did enjoy the story, but he said it was a slog at times with the bugs, especially, can you imagine, back in January?
Oh my god, I'm just recalling it. It's like
Yeah.
I had that issue still, and I think that issue is still there for me to this day, where I'd go outside the city limits, and that's the only time that I'd get 60 frames per second.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Any
See, and
change
I
in
haven't
like
even made it that far.
yeah, I'm still
So
I think only just I haven't gone back in the city limits. I don't remember though, but even so, yes, the DLC's been delayed. Content's not going to be out. They don't have a date though for release. It's just 2022. That is it. I think the multiplayer stuff has officially been scrapped. I don't think they've announced it. I think they said they were considering it, but I'm pretty sure the multiplayer stuff is scrapped. I think any attempt at trying to put this back into third person stuff has probably been scrapped too. I just think that this game is like, I don't know what the DLC is going to end up looking like, but
yeah.
I'm sure it's probably delayed because of a lot of stuff having been written in the original code and they've got to go back and redo it all.
Oh, I imagine. I
Yeah.
imagine.
Oh God.
I can't believe we're seeing it still.
I'm tired now just thinking
we're
about
like
Cyberpunk.
a year out at this point.
Agreed. We almost
And
are.
yeah.
We're close. We're
Yeah.
only like a month or so away. Like literally, if you really want to boggle yourself, Kyle, I want you to think about this for a second, okay? We are literally only about, let's see, what is today? Today's the 29th. So we are literally 12 days away from the first anniversary of the Xbox Series S and X launching.
Yeah.
Doesn't
And
that
it's still
hurt?
impossible to get one of those.
As I stare at mine sitting over here.
Well, yeah, you got lucky. You got a very loving wife that helped you out.
That she just kept refreshing the Microsoft Store. Yeah, good on you,
Yeah.
Amy. I love you, Amy. I appreciate it, even though I haven't
Well,
touched my
and
Xbox since we played Back 4 Blood.
I've got a bank that hates me. Otherwise, I would have had a Halo version. So.
Oh, I know you would have, and I would have snuck into your house and quietly switched mine out for yours.
Oh yeah.
You would have come in and looked, and it's like just gold Sharpie and like really crappy like blue watercolor paint on there just to really get it to sink in, and just make it look like, oh hey, cool.
Jeez.
I'll even like sneeze some glitter on there for you. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, it's been delayed. No official release dates on when this new DLC stuff's going to come out next year. But if you are a fan of Cyberpunk and you are looking forward to the DLC, be on the lookout for it next year. Now, of course, we move on to the next thing because this doesn't make sense to me because I don't know how this is going to look. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas has been confirmed as coming to VR on the Oculus Quest 2 as an exclusive. Why?
I mean,
Why? Why, Kyle?
they want a simulator of I don't know, getting fat in first person in a game and only being able to run half a block,
The only one where they can't prevent you from trying out the hot coffee mod.
Right? Oh god.
I mean, seriously.
Oh man.
Like, I'm not wrong on this one, but that's the thing.
I mean,
So,
I could see this being a very popular game. Oh, excuse me. But just because it's one of the most popular Grand Theft Autos, probably next to, I'd say, 5. It's way up there. So
well,
I see it
I
having
agree.
a larger audience. I see it bringing a lot of people to the Oculus.
I agree, but
potentially
it's
as
like
well.
I agree, but it's like, why not? Like GTA 5 is getting all these different releases and everything. It's like, why not just do a GTA 5 in VR, because it's already got a first person. It's already got that set up. Why not just do that? Because if it does it, it would feel like it wouldn't be much of a technical change for them on their side to at least incorporate VR. Because like the first person's there, people are already exposed and used to it. I'm surprised they didn't do it with GTA 5, but maybe it's more of like how the headset is expected to run it versus anything else. Because San
Right.
Andreas is old. I mean, it's 2004, so maybe that's part of it.
Well, and that
I
also
don't know.
makes me wonder because we've got the definitive edition launching here soon. Are they going to try and utilize the definitive edition in the Oculus, or are we just getting a
And
uh, a port, a mod of a ported version from the cell phone version of the game? How,
and
how is
that's
this going to work?
and that's the thing that they haven't said yet. As of right now, there hasn't been anything talked about if this is going to be if this is going to be that, if it's going to be the definitive edition, if this is going to be a whole rewrite in the sense of using maybe the original engine. They haven't said. All they've said right now is that it is going to be coming to the Oculus Quest 2, at least potentially as an exclusive, and that this has been getting worked on for a while. But I just don't. I just don't get it. I don't understand it from my opinion. Like, I don't know. I just don't know. It feels like it's such a weird use of time. Like, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And actually Alex asked, is Bigfoot in it this
I
time?
just saw
I
that.
think being a part of the game, probably not.
No, if you eat enough, you lift enough weights, and you make yourself as furry as possible, you could be Bigfoot in San Andreas yourself if you want.
You're gonna
But
have people chasing that game now.
God, if they added a multiplayer component to it, sure. But even so, it's like uh, cool. That's gonna be neat to see. I mean, from what I've heard so far, is that Resident Evil 4 VR has actually been a pretty good title. There have been a lot of people who have actually enjoyed it quite a bit, and it feels like a pretty smooth and decent entry. Um, but I don't know. GTA just seems like an interesting choice. That's just me. That's just it. Just
Yeah,
seems
I
weird.
I think yeah, especially being, an open world game like that and being such a
Yeah.
long game, that's a long time to wear that headset. Uh, I could see it, creating a lot of fatigue.
Unless you put in the cheats and you're flying around with the jetpack, or maybe you and get the Harrier and just fly around all over the place in that.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe
That'd be
maybe
fun.
it's just gonna be like San Andreas Light. You only get one neighborhood.
Get to walk around Grove Street, yo. That's all you get to
God, as
do.
long as they don't have the train mission at the end, towards the end of the game,
Oh my god.
I can
No,
imagine that being a nightmare.
imagine not only the train mission, but also imagine the explosive drop instead.
Oh
Using the
God,
RC plane and dropping
I could see
explosives.
people getting sick
I
with that
Yep, yep. I would actually probably have to
because
sit
that
down in
thing
my
was a
chair to play.
pain in the ass to control.
Yep. And now imagine it even so playing it in VR. Now,
Yeah,
yeah, now take that as you will. Again, that's coming up here sometime, probably this next year. I bet you we'll see something. Because I bet you it'll probably be the mobile version, Kyle. I bet you it'll be the definitive version that they're going to re-release on mobile, and that's what they're going to put on VR. I bet you that's what the case is going to be.
yeah.
Yeah. Even so, I had one other story on here, and I forgot to put it in my little. Oh my god, I got the hiccups now. What a horrible time to have the hiccups. So we have one more story here to talk about, and it is about the PlayStation 5, the thing you can't get, the thing that that Dbrand wants to make custom plates for, that Sony keeps on suing them for. Okay, so it came out. Sony released their financial report. They are now up to 13.4 million units sold on the PlayStation 5. and that's the combination of the digital edition and the disc version. They don't have, as far as I've seen, they don't have separate numbers. And what that means then is that in Q2, they sold 3.3 million units.
Which begs the question, where the hell are these 3.3 million units? I have never seen one of these things.
Well, so I've actually seen some things here, and I think a lot of this is just to stir up controversy for the state, like for the sake of stirring it up. Is there have been some people in like those bigger like warehouses that are meant to distribute out to all the other places, like whether it's maybe like a Walmart distribution center, maybe it's a distribution center for a Costco or a Sam's Club or what have you. And this guy was walking through taking video, and it was just pallets upon pallets of PlayStation 5s. Now we're in there.
And I will say the other day, um, I was kind of making fun of the situation just a moment ago, but the other day, I did see on Amazon they had both digital and disc versions of the PlayStation 5. I added one to my cart and I was ready to check out, and I was able to do
Right.
that twice within a 20-minute span. So they are becoming more and more available. I think that the 3.3 million units is actually probably a fairly realistic number that they've attained at this point, especially with how they're moving in the United States.
Well, maybe the restock is actually starting to get better, but it also could be related to the Christmas restock stuff too. It could be more of the, like you're starting to see more of like the early holiday stuff starting to come in and get restocked in some places, and that's why people are able to actually secure their console, which is great. That's cool. You know,
Well, and you do have a lot of retailers that are spreading out their holiday buying, starting, as early as I want to say a week or 2 weeks ago.
yeah,
That they started their actual like Black Friday and Christmas specials. And I want to say even Target, actually every week that they put out an ad, they're actually advertising now that this is the best deal of the holiday on an item that, if it's going to be the low price for, before Black Friday hits, or you're not going to even be able to maybe get that price on Black Friday, they're letting you know in the ad.
yeah, and I'm just looking here at Walmart's website just to see if there's anything I can do PlayStation 5 wise here. Let's see. I'd like to see like if I can just pick it here like sold by or something. Let's see here. Doesn't actually say here. I was trying to see if they had anything on Walmart because I know that's where a lot of people are actually buying their stuff. Yeah, who's this coming from here? Oh no, yeah, see exactly. That's not what I wanted. I wanted directly being sold by Walmart, and that was it.
See, and it's
Maybe it is the
ironic that
stock is coming back.
I was actually, I had such luck of adding those PlayStations to my cart twice because I didn't actually purchase it. I deleted it out of my cart both times. I was like, well, good to know I can get it. I don't really got the money right now, but whatever. They're actually people are actually scalping them again on Amazon for $1,500, $1,400, depending on the model and what it comes with. So
yeah, and it looks like you still can't order one off of Target either. It says here consoles will be viewable when inventory is available. So, which means that they're still not all the way there. But I have a feeling that we're going to end up seeing a lot more of this stuff come out for the holidays. Like we're actually going to see like I remember like Sam's Club would do these big things where it's like you'd buy a PlayStation or a console and you'd get a deal on something that goes in tandem with it or what have you. You know, it'd be something else that goes with it. Like here's an extra controller, here's a copy of a PS5 game that goes with it for, it ends up being a kind of a decent deal to get.
right.
But I'm sure that's probably what we're going to end up seeing here at some point soon is something like that.
And
And
it's
that's why we're not
ironic
seeing
that
as many.
we had talked about the dark plate thing just earlier. Ironically, looking on Amazon, one of the things that pops up is a PS5 console cover fit to digital edition ABS shell replacement faceplates. So I mean, there's plenty of other third party people still doing these faceplates.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
yeah,
even so, still funny. but
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. What are you gonna do
I don't
anymore
know.
now?
They're more available. Like I said, I feel like that is a fairly realistic number. I wish there was more available. Um, Sony could be selling so much more if they just had the units out there. And I know that there's probably some sitting in containers somewhere that can't pass customs or, but
They're on a boat, mother. Don't you ever forget.
yep, that's very true.
They like I'm like if you go by our Walmart and our Target here and you actually see those shipping containers out there, my understanding is that those shipping containers actually do contain uh holiday merchandise, the stuff that they're getting prepped for Black Friday, and those earlier deals. Um and so that's the impression I've been getting from people that I've been hearing from so far is that that's what's in those containers right now is that they're going to be doing some sort of in-store batches of Xboxes and PlayStations. Like someone actually found in store an Xbox Series S, like in the glass display case, waiting for someone to go and purchase it. Which means that the inventory is
Oh
starting to
wow.
get there and it's starting to become available. But yeah, I'm sure that a lot of it is going to be more of the holiday deal stuff. That these are going to be the things that people are going to want to buy on Black Friday because I think all the stores have said they're going to be closed Thanksgiving, so we're not going to
That
have
being
any.
said, I feel like there's gonna be a lot more stores that are carrying the PlayStation 5s, both digital and disc, and the Xbox Series S and X, that they're gonna be bundling it. You're not gonna be able to buy just the console. You're probably gonna be getting stuck with getting an extra controller, a couple games, battery packs, and other crap in order just to get the console.
Yeah, and even for the PlayStation 5, there's just not a lot of good local co-op multiplayer games to go and get. Like
No.
there's a lot of like party type ones you can download off of Game Pass that you can get and play like with a bunch of people all together. But for um
See, and that's
but on
one thing. I
PlayStation,
I
yeah, I
feel
don't think
like
so.
Sony almost needs to this December when after Christmas, maybe like Christmas to the 10th of January or something, allow PS5 users to like download it as long as they're a new user or they just got the console. And if they get the PlayStation Plus, they should be able to download the games that were on Plus for the year, at least the PlayStation 5 ones, because I mean, there isn't a lot for the system, and I feel like that they've missed out on value. And I get that it's an advantage to the early adopters of the system, but when
Yep.
there's so many extenuating circumstances making you an early adopter and separating you from other people, that's not quite that fair.
Uh, yeah, I think that's going to be a bigger thing because, well, so that sales thing there said that like
And
they were talking about.
honestly think it would help push Sony digital sales. I mean, right now Microsoft just jumped up to, above Apple as far as like biggest companies in the world.
Yeah, most valuable
So,
company. But even so
most
with that,
valuable company,
yeah, but even so
exactly.
with that, it's like Sony's financial report there had actually said that they had sold like out of all of the like it was 70 or 80 something million titles, like games that were sold on the consoles this last quarter, but only 6.8 million of those were first party Sony titles. Everything else was from other publishers and other developers.
Yeah. Sony
So,
needs to back their products.
yeah, well, that's the thing is that's why I'm saying it's like, why bundle the extra controller with the PlayStation 5 if you don't have any local multiplayer games to really play with people? Why would why would you do something like that? I could see a media remote. I could see maybe bundling PlayStation Plus. I could see bundling a game or something. Okay, that's cool. That's great. But there's a problem there on that side of it itself is that they just don't have the content for people to play. And
But PlayStation does also have that feature that a second player, what I believe even locally, can take over your controller on some games and they can help you through portions, and that's part of PlayStation's environment.
I think that was an online thing, but I remember you
It
talking
is an
about that.
online
Yeah.
thing. I want to say it is an online thing, but I think they might offer that locally potentially as well. So I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. They would be dumb if they wouldn't.
Maybe. I'm not going to argue with you on it, but maybe.
But
But yeah, but I mean,
maybe
that's
they just say it's easier to just pass over your controller, but who knows?
oh, it's true. That's true. But I think even so, I mean, we've like, it's good that at least we're seeing PlayStation sales. I'm sure we're going to hear Microsoft stuff. I don't know if they've reported theirs yet. I'm sure it'll be soon though. We're coming up on a busy holiday season. This is going to be a very interesting holiday season with the current inflation right now. A lot of stuff that is really hard to get. The demand for things being as high as they are, it's going to be a very interesting holiday season for stuff. So
Oh, for sure.
if you're one to delay on your Christmas shopping, you might want to consider starting to pick stuff up now, or at least start working towards doing that before we start hitting the bigger shopping points like Black Friday and beyond.
Yeah,
But that's
I
up to
would
you.
take advantage of
Yeah.
those extra days that we're getting of holiday deals, starting, like I said, as early as 2 weeks ago. So
Agreed. Number of toy catalogs I've already gotten in the mail for the kids to look at has been pretty obscene. Like just the number of them. Like I've seen them for every store, and even stores we don't have here. It's like, wow. All right, cool. I also found some toys for myself that I want, but that's neither here nor there.
yeah, no, I feel like a lot of big box stores are putting out like a Sears style catalog that you would have received when we were kids.
Yeah, I've had Walmart, Target, Amazon, Sam's Club, and a Costco one.
Oh wow, even Amazon.
And that's all been over the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, they're hitting it hard. So yeah, anyway, but that's on the sales part there for the Sony side. And I think that's everything for this week. Right, Kyle? Is everything?
I think so.
Awesome. We made it through another week of news and chaos. So, of course, with that, then, that means that's it for our weekly news roundup. It is, again, October 29th, 2021. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on this one. Of course, if you are watching us over on Facebook, please make sure to hit that like button so that way you know not only when we go live, but anything that we post whatsoever becomes available to you. If you are watching us over on YouTube, go hit that subscribe button and notification bell so when we do go live, we post any new content, anything of that sort, you will be the first to know about it because it'll be right there on your feed, it'll be right there on your phone, it'll be right there for you, ready to watch and enjoy. Of course, one of our big things, of course, and the big thing that has defined us since we began this back in June of 2019 is the podcast. Lately, we've been doing our podcast more so on Thursdays. We had a brand new episode of the NPCs Discussed that dropped this last Thursday talking about the Battle Pass. It's a good one. It's a popular one. It's a very interesting one to hear and listen to our take on it, of course. So please go and tune into that one on your favorite podcast platform of choice. One big integration that we've got now with our podcast as well is actually it's two big integrations. The first one, if you are someone who does frequent Facebook on a mobile device, you can actually bring up our podcast directly from your Facebook page itself. So you don't even have to go and download any other sort of platform or use any other sort of platform. You can keep everything nice and neat there on Facebook and grab it as soon as it becomes available. Also, if you are a person who does happen to use podcasts on Spotify and does listen to us on Spotify or should be listening to us on Spotify, hint, hint, we also are now including user questions, user polls as well that tie in with our Discuss episode. So there are questions that do go up there. Please feel free to chime in. Of course, if we do get responses on them, we will bring them up in our next NPCs Discuss episodes as well. Really helps us out to show at least the community engagement, lets us know that you are listening in some form or another, but also at least lets us engage with you as well, though, too, and helps drive at least the way that we go on our discussions. But yeah, so with that, of course, in the podcast and everything else we're also doing here, we are very busy people. So just like you are as well, we've taken up enough of your time tonight. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to this week's weekly news roundup. We'll catch you guys all in the next one.
Laters.